Hello, I'm the Guitar Geek, and today I've got the RB-600 Classic Series from Harley Benton. It is obviously a Rickenbacker copy. It looks a little bit like it. I mean, we've got the sort of fire glow finish and the white scratch plate. It certainly looks the part. I mean, if you're in some kind of Beatlesy band and you want something that looks like a Rickenbacker but can't afford one, that looks pretty good. It's a semi-hollow body with a sustain block right in the middle there, so underneath this beautiful fire glow finish, there's a piece of wood. It is a mahogany body, and I'm guessing that piece of wood in the middle is also mahogany. Certainly looks like it. The neck itself is maple, so we've got a mahogany body and a maple neck with a rose acer fingerboard. And rose acer is a thermally treated maple, so we've got maple and maple, and it looks a lot like rosewood. We've also got up here a plastic nut, which is cut pretty well. There's a little bit of leftover plastic in there somewhere. I don't know if you can see it. It's black on black, but I've seen a lot worse. That's okay. 6 standard budget tuners. Nothing to write home about there. I'm not a big fan of that Harley Benton logo stuck on there, though. I think it looks a little bit out of place on such a vintage guitar. Maybe, I know that they're trying to brand Harley Benton with this new logo, but for me, that doesn't quite fit there. And that's a bit of a shame. That makes it look, in my opinion, cheaper. We've got down here a Rickenbacker bridge, which if I hold it somewhere like this, at first glance, it kind of looks like a Tune-o-matic, and inside, under this plate here, we've got 6 saddles, which do look indeed very much like a Tune-o-matic. But this goes up and down with 4 screws, which are Allen key screws. It's pretty much Rickenbacker's take on the Tune-o-matic. It's got frets, 22 of them, medium they look to me, sort of not too chunky, not too thin. So we've got a bound neck, and we've got dot markers just here, which are roughly centered. I've got dot markers here, which is the cheapest of all the options to put markers on. Looks pretty good though. Are they in the middle? Yeah, they're well centered. Yes, they are. The frets themselves are okay. I can feel them a little bit going up and down the neck, but it's not sharp. It's just there's a bump there. We've got mini humbuckers from Artec, which is a Chinese brand, if I remember rightly, and it looks to me like that one there is off center. It looks like it's slightly wonky. Yeah, I think it is. I mean, it's certainly not. What is going on there? I can't seem to figure that out. I don't know if that's the design of the guitar, but this pickup looks kind of wonky if I really, really do line it up. It looks like it's going off in that direction slightly. Which brings me on to the pickguard, scratch plate, finger thing. It's double. You've got one piece here, it runs all the way, and then you've got a second piece here to sort of give them this 2-tier effect, which I think looks kind of cool. It's cut very, very sharply, and it's not rounded off, and there's certainly no attention being paid to make that smooth. It's single ply white. If they had done like a triple ply white, black, white, that might have looked a little better. The knobs I love. They look really authentic, and they do set off the guitar nicely. If they just chucked on any old sort of Strat volume tone knobs, it would have really put off the look. That looks cool. Trapezoid tailpiece, so we've got a bit more ring, a little bit more overtones coming from this rather than just setting the strings in a stop tail. This guitar's coming in at €200, which in pounds and dollars is... Come with me on a floor finding journey. The first thing that screams loudly to me is this in the F-hole. I'm going to try and get some close-ups of that. There is glue all in there. It looks like they've just smothered the whole thing with glue and then just left it. It looks like icing, cake icing. It's nasty, horrible. Also on that, there's, I can't get my finger in there, there is sort of sawdust and stuff left in there. It looks like a spider might have crawled in there at some point. But all that takes is, when building this, is just to wipe it off before you stick it on the body. That's a bit of a disappointment. Often the culprit for finishes is where the neck joins the body, and it's okay. Let's get that in there. It's just in here I'm talking about, just here. There's a little bit of a finish there, but you do find that on guitars of double this price. So this is 200 euros on a 400 euro Epiphone. You still find those problems. Something you don't always find is there's like a finish problem here with the binding. And what they've done is when they've tried to smooth off the frets and level the frets on the edges, they've taken away some of the finish on the binding, leaving the white plastic underneath. So it's white plastic with a sort of yellow tint finish all the way over it. And some of that tint finish has come off when leveling those frets. So that's a bit of a shame. Nothing you feel, but if you look closely you can see it. Again, this rosacea stuff looks great. That's pretty nasty in there. Just over here with the end, that's badly cut. I see that can pass quality control because at 200 euros it's acceptable. But is it really? I don't know. I wouldn't be happy with that. But I certainly wouldn't send it back either. Conundrum. It is a two-piece body, but it's kind of weird. It's not going on straight. It's off at an angle. Can you see that? So if I hold the guitar straight, there's no matching going on there. And it's a two-piece neck here, so there's a scarf joint, meaning the wood is joined like that. So it's a cheaper option again. You don't have to have such a long piece of wood. There's some black paint under the finish there. That's a bit of a shame. Again, nothing terrible. Is it black finish or is it wood? We've got the same here. That looks more like a knot in the wood, and that looks more like paint. That's certainly paint. I don't know. Either way, not perfect, but 200 euros. It's really nice to play. The guitar obviously needs a setup. There's a bit of buzzing there, and there's sort of things clunking around, and the truss rod needs adjusting for sure. That's completely flat. There's no relief there. There's no distance there at all. So that would need some adjusting. I think that might fix most of the problems. There's a little bit of nut lubrication needed, a little bit of lubrication of the saddles, but the sound is really something I quite like. It's got that snappiness, probably because of the maple neck and the treated maple fretboard and the mahogany body with the whole thing going on. Due to the rules of my out-of-the-box reviews, I'm not allowed to adjust that truss rod, so it's really bugging me that it's too flat and I'm getting buzzing everywhere, because I think this could be a really nice guitar. It certainly feels a little plasticky, so the neck, again, I'm a fan of more satin stuff than I am of the poly feel. Oh, there's a lot of dust and dirt in that upper horn just there. Ugh. Okay, so it also needs a clean. But it's forgiving. It's a very small guitar. So if you're a beginner or if you're a child or a smallish person, then this might be the guitar for you. I'm not a smallish person, and I can still play it. It feels great. I'm going to play a little loop for you now and see what we can get out of this. Some different tones just by changing the pickup selector. this would be a good choice if you're in a sort of indie rock band that wants to look a little bit different, because it's not exactly like a Rickenbacker. It's got the F hole here rather than the sort of triangular one, and there's other stuff going on with this. It's obviously a tribute rip-off of the Rickenbacker, but I think it's far enough away to be something on its own entirely. Even with its shortcomings, with the lack of setup and some of the finish flaws, it makes me want to play it. It's a fun guitar to play, and that anything that makes me want to play is good in my book. And anything that sort of pushes me away and gets me further from being creative or enjoying myself at the least, that's not good. This is good. Find one without any finish flaws or with fewer finish flaws, and be aware that you probably will need to get a little setup, even if it's just adjust the truss rod and check out the intonation. That's a good guitar. You can see more about it in the video description down below and learn more and even buy it if you wish. I'm the Guitar Geek. That's the RB-600 from Harley Benton. You're you. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you again in the future. Leave me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you want more of this and more of the same, and see you in the future. Bye-bye.